Who can say for sure? Perhaps a frontal lobotomy would be the answer. If science could operate on this distorted brain and put it to good use, society would reap a great benefit.
Welcome back to Radio 1.
Thanks, man.
Madeville Studio 4, here we are. And part of the reason we're here, obviously, is because it's the BBC, but also because we've got Studio 3 around the corner, and you've got the band set up, and you're going to perform some songs for us as well, which is pretty damn exciting.
It's really exciting, man. I'm super excited to be here. I was trying to figure out how I was going to top the publicity of yours and Kanye's interview. So I decided I was going to walk in here and just pee on the floor and leave. I'm peeing right now.
Oh, God.
All right.
Clean up, aisle 1.
All right, see you guys later.
But see, the difference is this time I'm totally prepared for it. You know, seeing you with the band and seeing you perform the other night, actually, at the awards ceremony, and seeing you on the mic, it was... I don't think I've ever seen you so alive on the mic and so, like, just full of energy and
really?
in the moment. Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Absolutely amazing. And what I noticed as well is that, you know, spitting live as well, completely live with the band behind you, seemed to free you up a lot more as well. Are you feeling that way?
I think performing has gotten a lot different. It's gotten better with the band because there's just more elements to it, and being that it is a live show, there's more places you can go with it. Yeah. You know, there's things you can do with your hands, you know, that
I'm not quite sure what to do with my hands.
I don't do
with my hands.
Yeah.
The car performed pretty good.
No, it's really cool. It's different.
Yeah.
And I think it's better.
And spitting Rap God as well. I mean, that puts everything into perspective, I think, for everybody else. I mean, when you wrote that and you got that one down and recorded it,
I didn't write it. I freestyled it.
You freestyled off the top of your head?
Off the dome.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Thanks, man.
I mean, no, the song's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Thank you.
Now, when you get to perform that live, that must be... I saw at the end, once you finish that, I mean, that's a challenge for anybody. And I mean, at the end of it, you must feel like, wow, I mean, that's a lot of rhymes to get through. What is it, 5 or 6 minutes nonstop?
Yeah, I mean, the other night, I don't think we did the whole song.
Yeah.
We did kind of a deadly medley. No, we did
I don't even know how you would, like, cut that up and make a shorter version of that because it's such a stream of consciousness through the whole track.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even begin to want to think about trying to do that because, yeah, I think that it is that's a good stream of consciousness.
Yes.
Or unconsciousness.
Which is what you were doing before as well, just as we walked in.
Yes.
Little stream of consciousness going on there.
Nice stream of consciousness running down my leg.
You are welcome.
It's all good, man.
The album itself has been so well received by everybody, including, you know, fans right across the world, because in my opinion, listening to it now, it's kind of the perfect combination of the venom and the danger that existed on the first record, but also what you've been through and what you've learned in the last sort of 5 or 6 years too. It's kind of like a combination of the two. Is that fair, do you think? Like the first album that feels like it's slightly grown up, but also is going back to some of those subject matters and dealing with that stuff.
It's grown up and down.
Yeah,
grown
exactly.
down. Yeah, I mean, you know, some of the themes and topics and things like that are revisited on this album. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of a 2013 version. You know, all my albums, I think, for the most part, pretty much tell where I'm at, you know, on each one at that time period or whatever. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of like, there's a lot of reflecting and things like that back on everything that was happening during that time, you know. And it's kind of like me reflecting on it and getting to the point where I am now with it.
Selling some scores as well, kind of burying hatchets and dealing with stuff once and for all. Do you feel like, has this album allowed you to do that?
I mean, some stuff, yeah. But for the most part, I just felt like it might be fun to just revisit that, just, you know, the overall vibe of that album. Just because it kind of started to go there early on a little bit in the recording process.
So when did that start to happen? When did it feel like, oh, okay, we are going down that road?
I don't know. I mean, I think that I had started making a few records for it, and it just sounded like the tonality of it, the tones of the records kind of were heading towards that way. And once I got, you know, figured out what direction it should go in, kind of started gearing everything that way. You know, and a lot of times, making an album, I don't always have the direction or concept early on. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it doesn't come till like the middle, towards the end of a record, to figure out where I'm actually going with that, and that's just usually just the culmination of songs, and depending on what the vibe is. But sometimes I do songs that are maybe so left field, one or two of them, that it's like, oh shit, where am I gonna put these songs, and now what am I gonna call it? Because it's not gonna make sense to go, like, let's say Recovery or whatever.
Yeah.
But with this one, I feel like I kind of got an earlier idea for a concept.
That must have been nice, actually, to be able to sit down and sort of carve it up as it was going and have that end result in mind and piece it together that way.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but it wasn't, in the sense of like, I had to record a lot of songs for it, because I felt like if I'm gonna call it that, I want it to be able to make sense.
Yeah, and stakes is high as well. I mean, I was talking to someone about this before, and they were saying, or maybe I read it, I was saying, Eminem will never consider one of his albums to be a classic. He's not that way inclined. But you know how people feel about the Marshall Mathers LP. I mean, sales alone speak volumes, and then the critics and every layer of it. It is considered, a modern day classic album. That's difficult, isn't it? I mean, did you consider the expectation of calling it that and what it would mean to the record overall?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had known that going in. In other words, once I did kind of know what direction I was going, I knew that I needed certain songs to be able to call it that, and like I said, to be able to make sense. But I just wanted to make sure that I had the right ones, and in other words, like, I knew that obviously Stan off the first Mathers LP was a big topic, and I had heard a lot of chatter right around the time of doing the Recovery record that I should do Stan 2, and why doesn't he do Stan 2, and all I kept thinking was, well, Stan's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, he died in the story. So in the back of my mind, I kind of had an idea of like who could be left from the story.
Yeah.
But I needed to get the right beat and be able to
do this as soon as it starts as well, man. I mean, did you know immediately that this was the beat for this concept?
Yeah, as soon as I heard the words to the chorus.
It's like I'm in the dirt digging up
this beat was
tried everything to get my
I got
mind
this beat was sent to me, and it had those words on it.
And
And sometimes for me it's like I like making my own choruses and writing my own choruses and things like that, but it's also fun for me to be able to try to take someone else's words and interpret them my own way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you hear that chorus, I'm sure initially it's probably written along the lines of, it's a first person scenario, or it's a self-hatred scenario, but to actually tie it into, there's layers to that. I hate, being bad is good, I hate to be it, but here I am and I'm back again, and then you got to deal with the story, and then at the end, you're taking everybody right to the end as well, where you couldn't be facing down any more of the criticism, both self and by others, that you faced throughout your career. I mean, it's the ultimate kind of acknowledgement, isn't it, as part of the song, right at the start. Like meeting a maker, almost, really. Was that kind of the inspiration behind it?
I mean, it's kind of like saying, like, all right, if you're going to go down this road and you're going to call it this, you know what I'm saying, and this is going to be the title, this is all of these things coming back on me,
Lay it out there right from the start. Amazing, man. I mean, I love that. It's an amazing opening to the record, and it's really ambitious as well. I mean, there's 2 parts and 3 parts. So you set the bar really, really high, and then from there we go into Rhyme or Reason. And I mean, I love that beat. I just love the big sample, the use of it, and the first time you reference Rick Rubin as a producer on the record. I mean, when did you first have the idea of working with Rick?
Well, it was. I mean, I've always been a fan of Rick. And my manager, Paul, had been talking to him, and Rick had expressed that he had interest in working with me. And, when Paul brought it to my attention, I was like super excited, just, honored at the fact that he was even thinking about it, you know. And, was a little, I had my reservations just because, I felt like I would probably be, I'm a super fan of Rick, you know what I'm saying? So I'd probably be a little nervous, and I don't know what the vibe would be, just because I would be you know, wanting to impress him. You know what I'm saying? So it was very much kind of like the feeling that I got early on with Dre.
Had you met him before? Had you met Rick before?
I hadn't met him.
Right.
Nah, I had never met him. So I was like nervous to meet him, and then, you know, even more nervous to work with him.
So, but you were saying same thing as Dre, like when you first, all the way back, same kind of experience as when you walked in the studio and saw Dre that time and just...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm still always in my head. I'm still always trying to impress Dre, too. You know, to this day at the same time. But yeah, I just kept thinking like, well, if I get in the studio with Rick, what if we're not able to come up with anything? What if we're not? You know what I'm saying? Like all these things in my head, and then when I met him, it was like the guy's so laid back that it made it easy. You know, and his vibe in the studio was just like very much like. I don't know how to say it. Like he try whatever. Don't be afraid to try whatever, even if the idea in the beginning is stupid.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of ideas in beginning stages, not mine, of course. Mine are just insane from the moment I think of them. Of
course.
But sometimes ideas, you know, they're not always the greatest.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you know.
Don't be afraid to fail, basically, to get somewhere else, to get on the journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you say one thing that's going to spark another thing to lead to a better thought,
Yeah.
you know, that's kind of how it went. And, you know, we started going through like old break beats, and I was trying to tell him I kind of had the idea. I kind of had a notion that I was maybe going to call it the Marshall Mathers LP too, but I didn't want to say anything yet to him because I wasn't 100% sure, and I wanted to make sure that I, you know, had enough songs to even play for him that would make sense, you know. So I kind of, you know, we discussed like I love the sound that Rick gets when he does hip hop. You know, even from early
so
on,
warm,
Beastie
man.
Boys, it's incredible. And that's what I was kind of hoping to get, was kind of like, you know, something like I was trying to figure out like how can I make the record sound nostalgic but subliminally nostalgic, not, you know what I'm saying, like not
More like a
blatant.
throwback.
Yeah, so that it kind of reminded you of maybe 13 years ago, you know, when you first heard me, but it's over beats that are even, you know, they're older, but you're not sure why you feel this way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just to try to create a feel. So we started messing with old samples and break beats and things like that. And because, you know, Rick is super like talented and mastered like every other genre of music as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like the way he dips in and out of just different genres is crazy to me. So, you know, but like I said, I was hoping to get what I got from him.
Oh,
So-
man. The first time I saw Berserk as well, and I was so happy to see, you know, the way that you came through, and then the video, you know, with the way the colors were so
Yeah.
reverse Beastie Boys style. It was fanboy stuff for me, you know, like, you know, to be able to go out there with the beanie on the ad rock thing, and it was cool,
Yeah.
man. I loved that. I loved
Yeah,
that.
thanks.